SPUP through the years. St. Paul University Philippines was founded on May 10, 1907 as Colegio de San Pablo by the Sisters of St. Paul Short, who came to Cagayan Valley upon the invitation of Bishop Dennis Doherty. The school's name was changed to Colegio del Sagrado Corazon de Jesus in 1909, then to Sacred Heart of Jesus Institution in 1925. The school started in a Spanish convento adjoining the cathedral, but due to increase of enrollment and curricular expansion, the community moved to the Colegio de San Jacinto and its grounds in 1934, which the SPC Sisters acquired from the Dominican Order. The school served as military garrison and hospital of the Japanese forces in 1941. The entire complex was razed to the ground during the liberation in 1945. The school assumed the name St. Paul College of Tuguegarao in 1948 and became the first teacher training institution in Cagayan Valley. With the opening of college degrees, the school became the first accredited institution in the region by the Philippine Accrediting Association of Schools, Colleges, and Universities in 1961. However, the entire complex was reduced into ashes on January 18, 1965. Despite the challenges, SPUP became the first university and Catholic university in Cagayan Valley region in 1982. In its efforts towards innovative and global education, SPUP gained the distinction of being the first private Catholic university in Asia and the first private university in the Philippines granted an ISO 9001 certification by TUV Rainland in 2000, and one of the universities in the Philippines accredited by the Asian Association of Schools of Business International since 2014. SPUP has also been selected as one of only 16 universities in the Philippines by World Bank as a Knowledge for Development Center. For its exemplary achievement as an innovative private school, SPUP was honored as a Netizen's Choice Awardee in the 2021 Philippine Social Media Awards in recognition of its strong online presence, positive ratings and reviews, and responsible use of social media platforms as its marketing tools. Moreover, SPUP was ranked 38 by the world's universities with real impact on ethical value because of its innovative program in creating real value to society and providing opportunities along social responsibility, ethics, and integrity. Consequently, WRI, or WURI, has also ranked SPUP among the top 101 to 200 innovative universities in the world in 2021. The pioneering internationalization initiatives of the university have fostered opportunities for SPUP academic community, with the Commission on Higher Education designating the university as one of the 12 participating schools in the entire country for the ASEAN International Mobility for Students program. SPUP endeavored breakthroughs for its students and teachers along academic exposure and exchange, work and travel, and cultural immersions in various countries across the world. As a result, the university was declared the third prize winner in the first Philippine Higher Education Internationalization Award by the Commission on Higher Education and the University of the Philippines Open University in 2021. The recognition advanced the stature of SPUP as an international university. Currently, the international community in SPUP, comprising of international and exchange students and professors, is continuously growing, while its international linkages and partnerships are extensively expanding. In its endeavors to foster sustainable development through quality education, the UNESCO Associated Schools Project Network has recognized SPUP as its affiliate school in the country. Moreover, for its integrated undertakings towards environmental stewardship and care for creation, SPUP was conferred the most environment-friendly and sustainable school in Region 2 by the Environmental Management Bureau. Along community development and service learning, the Department of Social Welfare and Development awarded SPUP Community Development Center as the best non-government organization in Luzon in 2019 for its contribution in improving the lives as well as in providing better opportunity for the poor, vulnerable, and marginalized sector of the community. In 2020, SPUP won the Prince Talal International Prize for Human Development by Arab Gulf Program for Development in recognition of its efforts towards the realization of the Sustainable Development Goal on Zero Hunger. In the evangelization of faith and promotion of arts and culture, SPUP instituted a proactive ecumenical approach towards intercultural and interfaith differences due to the increasing population of international students. The creative approach to where faith and culture meet responds to the challenges of internationalization, where the academic community is strongly rooted in the Catholic beliefs, respectful of others' creed and culture. In 2012, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines identified SPUP as a Catholic Center for Culture for its collaborative undertaking to conserve the patrimony of the Church and to promote greater awareness of the Church's heritage through education, worship, and the sacraments. Moreover, in 2014, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines bestowed SPUP a historical marker in recognition of its contribution in the historical development of Cagayan Valley in the fields of education and public service. In 2018, the Cultural Center of the Philippines has designated SPUP as a regional arts center for its efforts in promoting arts and culture, showcasing artistic excellence, and fostering public participation in the arts. Today, SPUP is recognized by the Commission on Higher Education as an autonomous institution, Center of Excellence in Nursing, Center of Excellence in Teacher Education, Center of Development in Information Technology, Center of Teacher Training Institution, the first PAASCO-accredited Integrated Basic Education Unit in Cagayan Valley, a deputized institution for the Expanded Tertiary Education Equivalency Accreditation Program, most outstanding student services in the Philippines, outstanding research academic library in the Philippines, an associate member of the Asian Association of Open Universities, an accredited school by the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities Commission on Accreditation for its graduate school, a delivering higher education institution for graduate studies for the K-12 transition program, and its School of Medicine is listed in the World Health Organization's World Directory of Medical Schools. Through the years, SPUP continuously provide a holistic and high-quality education that is value-based, technology-enabled, and sustainable. As it offers basic to graduate school education, SPUP has advanced its teaching learning process and its digital transformation of educational services towards the integral formation of the human person. SPUP remains committed in making a difference by preparing and forming its students and graduates to be God-loving, responsible citizens who can contribute to nation building and shape a peaceful, just, sustainable, and better world.
As the world changes rapidly at St. Paul University, Philippines, School of Nursing and Allied Health Sciences, we are committed to focus on what matters most, the value of education by providing learning for all. Join us in Higher Education in Focus, Discover, Visualize, and Reimagine, a global webinar series that explores the challenges, opportunities, and lessons that educational institutions around the world need. This series will also involve cutting edge thinking in today's higher education. Learn from higher education experts, thought leaders, researchers, and innovators as they share their expertise about these contemporary topics that will benefit students, educators, and leaders across all disciplines. I am Alan Paulo Blaquera, a faculty member of St. Paul University, Philippines. This virtual series goals are: first is to provide practical competencies and transferable skills in response to the changing landscape of higher education. Second is to communicate current global higher education trends and challenges. And third, explore multiple ways for higher education professionals to respond to the change and transformation brought about by technology and innovation. Before we formally start the program, there are a few reminders in this video. The moderator for today's webinar is the Vice President of Sigma Honor Society of Nursing Phi Gamma Chapter, a certification board commissioner, National League of for Nursing, and Gallup certified strength coach, and an adjunct faculty of St. Paul University, Philippines. Let us all welcome Dr. Benjo Breboneria.
Thank you so much, Alan, for your warm welcome, particularly to all our participants. And I assume that as we move through the presentation, the number of participants will go up. So education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. So it is actually one of the most powerful quotations that I really admire because all throughout my experience as a professional and as a nurse as well, learning has always been my passion. And same as with what I am telling everyone, my colleagues and all the people that are close to me, not everyone is given the privilege of learning. And when I was given an opportunity to be mentored by some of the wonderful people in our field, and also some that are outside our field, I always felt that learning should not stop with me, and I should not be the only one experiencing and learning from those opportunities. So basically, in the process, I began to feel that this is something that is worth sharing with any other professionals within my network. And so as to contemplate the idea that learning never stops. That constant support that we are privileged to receive from various individuals and professionals in these endeavors, in this endeavor basically means so much to us, not only in our growth as a professional in the field, but also in our growth as a person as well. So personally, maybe they do not have an idea of how much I am inspired by the greatness and also the expertise from the participants, from the speakers who will be presenting in this virtual series. I can say that I'm really in awe, particularly with the body of work that they have. That is something that still amazes me and inspires me in many different levels, and most evident in my growth in the pursuit of my own professional endeavors. So to start off our event, of course, it's very important for us to be able to introduce the university president of St. Paul University, Philippines, Merceditas Ang, SPC. That because of her, we were given an opportunity and chance to be able to do this service learning activity. And this time it's in a global initiative. So sister, you may want to share with us your words of wisdom to all the participants.
Thank you, Benjo. On behalf of St. Paul University, Philippines, I convey my heartfelt greetings to everyone in this global virtual forum. Good evening, good morning, good day to all our participants in this first of a series of webinars on the theme Higher Education in Focus, Discover, Visualize, and Reimagine. These cover a wide array of informative, relevant, updated, and inspiring topics that would enhance our interdisciplinary learning, our personal and professional growth, also unleash our passion and special interests, and so empower us to discover, visualize, and reimagine the significant areas, imperatives, and the higher education trajectory that we pursue to realize our potentials and aspirations in life. As we know, the world is changing and transforming. Technology is advancing beyond our wildest dreams, and complex issues in all facets of life confront peoples and nations. Higher education brings us into a higher level of learning new ways of thinking, discovering and developing talents and capabilities, and acquiring problem-solving skills with creativity, competence, values, grit, and innovation. More than having a degree and profession, there is so much opportunity and transformation involved in a holistic higher education journey. From our participants in other countries, not only here in the Philippines, but also in other countries, I would like to emphasize that tonight, I am delighted by your presence and interest in a mind-elevating topic on legacy building and personal branding. It is opportune to ponder and engage in thought-provoking and positive endeavors that can last a lifetime. This will surely inspire and motivate us to sharpen our self-awareness, to deepen in our life goals and priorities, to focus on the essentials in life and work that would shape our personal brand, create an impact and legacy to people and community, and thereby make a difference. I believe that each one of us is born for a divine reason and with a particular mission. Every person is born with God-given talents and unlimited potentials. So our life journey is laden with opportunities as well as challenges to develop our full capabilities to become the best that we can be. Our life purpose, values, and character will define the essence of the personal brand that we exude and become. It is inspiring to realize that the good and positive things that we invest for ourselves and in the service of others would remain a lasting legacy that we are best identified with. As we know, a life lived well in quality relationships, spirituality, and transformative advocacies would surely be worthwhile and can create eternal legacy and impact that would last through eternity. So let us focus on what really matters in education and in life. We have a remarkable speaker who will be introduced later. And hopefully, through this webinar, we discover a treasure of noble ideas and insights as we visualize and reimagine a more impactful and effective, peaceful, equitable, sustainable, and better world. So thank you very much, everyone, and blessings to all.
Thank you so much, sister, for that very inspiring and powerful message to all our participants. And to proceed, we will now be introducing our speaker for this event. Dr. Selena Gilles is an associate professor and associate dean of the undergraduate program from New York University Rory Myers College of Nursing. She is an affiliate faculty member of the Hartford Institute for Geriatric Nursing, where she serves as a co-director of the Heinz Scholar Program. Dr. Gilles is an affiliate associate professor at Howard University College of Nursing and Allied Health Sciences and volunteer associate professor for the State University of Haiti. Dr. Gilles is known for creating and implementing non-traditional immersive teaching and learning innovations to address nationally identified nursing education issues that will enhance student learning and program outcomes. She is regarded as a leader and pre-licensure nursing education expert who has implemented curricular innovations that have been evidence-based, creative, and effective teaching strategies that span across multiple courses at Myers and settings outside Myers, having a significant impact on student academic success and role transitions. Her contributions have helped enhance nursing curriculum, filling identified gaps and answering the new essentials call for all entry-level professional nurses to have knowledge and proficiencies to practice across a variety of settings in the spheres of wellness and disease prevention and chronic disease management. She is passionate about the management of acute and chronic pain, as well as opioid overdose prevention. She is the program director of the Greater New York City Black Nurses Association Opioid Overdose Prevention Program. She has a strong community advocacy and passion for global health, currently working in organizations aimed to serve the underprivileged and underdeserved communities in Haiti, Ghana, and Nigeria. She has been on 6 medical missions and currently a member of 6 professional nursing organizations and associations, including serving as the past president and current treasurer of Myers Sigma Upsilon chapter and Programming and Community Service Community Chair for the Greater New York City Black Nurses Association. Dr. Gilles is an NLN lead alum way back 2019, a Penn Wharton Nurse Executive Leader alum, and she has received NVNA Under 40 Award, Nurse of the Year Award for Community Service, and Advanced Practice Nurse of the Year Award. She has also received Yota P. Brown Community Service Award from Chi Eta Pi Sorority, and Dr. Gilles is the recipient of the GNY CBNA Nurse of the Year for Community Service and NYU Myers Humanitarian Award. And lastly, she is also a fellow of the New York Academy of Medicine. So to welcome our renowned speaker for tonight to talk about legacy building and professional branding, let me call on Dr. Selena A. Gilles.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Benjo, for that introduction. I am actually in New York, so it's good morning for me. It's 7 a.m. Although I'm starting my day, I know that some of you are ending your day. So thank you so much for ending your day with me. So I am just going to quickly share my screen. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about legacy building and personal branding. Everyone leaves a legacy, whether they intend to or not. The people you see in these photos, whether we agree with their ideals or their politics, how they went about them, and regardless of how we view them, all have created a legacy. They are known for something. They are a brand. You will leave a legacy and you get to decide what that is. You are your brand. What do you want to be known for? What do you want your legacy to be? It's essential that we start with the definition of a legacy. And so in order to do that, we have to take a look at what legacy really means. And so if we look in the dictionary, the limited definition of a legacy is a gift, usually an amount of money or personal property left by a will. We won't talk about that type of legacy today. We're going to look at legacy in a broader sense. And so as we think about leadership, the definition of legacy really encompasses something of value left behind. It can be negative, it can be positive, it can be big or small. It can be whatever you want it to be. So as leaders, think of your legacy as your contributions, your achievements. What do you do? What do you give? What do you hope to accomplish? That is your legacy. Legacies have been a powerful part of societies for as long as humans have existed. And so consideration in building a legacy is also helpful in influencing people in roles of power to do good. Now let's talk about branding. Think about some of the well-known brands you know. You notice I just put up these logos without the names, but you can easily identify these brands. What do you think of when you hear someone mention these brands or when you see these logos? Apple, Doritos, Pepsi, Target, Tesla, Starbucks. Your professional brand will work in a similar capacity. It is your reputation and your image. It is something you have to work to establish, promote, and maintain. And so to give you an example, Think about what people may think of when they see your picture or hear your name. When people may hear my name, they may associate that with global health, or they may associate that with assisting students to transition to practice, or people outside of the healthcare world may attribute that to caring or being a nurse. And so before you start to think about your own personal brand, I wanted to just go over a few folks who have done a great job at building their own brand. For example, Elon Musk, whether we agree with him, whether we like him or not, he's a successful entrepreneur, technological visionary, and a hardworking CEO. Think about Oprah Winfrey. She's a strong, charitable, and successful Black female leader. Think about Kim Kardashian, even. She's an influential TV personality, and love her or hate her, a pop culture icon. Our personal brand refers to how we present ourselves, what our skills might be, what our experiences might be, and our career goals, how we present that to other people or other professionals. It's really what distinguishes you from the rest of the pack on the job market. Your personal brand will likely drastically differ from the ones mentioned previously, may drastically differ from the people that are in this room, but you get the idea. Now it's time for you to define your own brand. Think about your experiences, your accomplishments, your goals. When people consider you professionally, what do you want them to think about? How do you differ from the person in the next cubicle? How do you differ from the person in the office across the hall? And I want to give you 4 tips that are a great way to really spark some introspection, looking within, some reflection as you start to think about what your personal brand is or what you hope your personal brand might be. Make a list of your jobs, your internships, your volunteer experiences. Ask your current and former colleagues to describe what your best attributes and skills might be. Think about your career goals and ask yourself, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Consider who your stakeholders are. In the case of higher education, we're thinking of our stakeholders as our colleagues, right? As our students, as our staff that we work with it day in and day out. Now take a look and pluck out some of those common themes that fit you and your career goals. You use these to start building your personal brand statement, AKA that one sentence that highlights your expertise and what makes you stand out in the field. And so you can see, as Benjo was reading my bio, I make sure to have those personal brand statements. And it's basically a mission statement, but for yourself and for your career. So I want to give you a few examples that you can work from and really defining your own brand and what makes you unique. For example, I create online branded content that engages readers and pushes them to action. Maybe that's your personal brand. Or I help small businesses develop sustainable business practices that lead to long-term growth. Or I offer one-on-one leadership coaching and training to help individuals reach peak performance. So your brand statement is your mission statement, and it just defines your own brand and what really makes you unique. In our lives, we all have different identities. You may be a parent, a sibling, a doctor, a nurse, a caregiver, a manager, an accountant, a best friend, a first-generation college grad. I identify as a millennial. I also identify as a Haitian American. With these various identities, you get to decide who you are in that role. You get to decide what your legacy will be. No one can do that for you. You get to decide what your brand is. So think about what you will build. Why consider a legacy? Well, whether you like it or not, you will have one. So you should be able to craft what you want that to be. And building a legacy helps to make your goals clear to you. It really also helps with making your daily stressors seem very trivial because you're always thinking about the bigger picture. It really does give you a sense of purpose. So think about this. How do you hope to be remembered in your current role? How do you hope to be remembered throughout your career? When you go from one job to another, what do you want to leave behind? That is your legacy. As Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. Planning is key. While you will have a legacy, whether you like it or not, you get to craft it. You get to craft what that legacy is. Don't let someone else do that for you. Planning really helps you to discover the ways in which you will use your time, your talent, and your resources to really make a lasting impression on others. Think about what your legacy might be. What do you do best? What will each of your professional legacies be? What will your personal legacies be? Does the pace of your daily life leave you little time to think about your behavior and how it will affect or impact your legacy to your friends, your family, your colleagues, your parents, and other people with whom you interact? What do you do best that you could pass along? You have to develop a vision for your leadership in order to really be an authentic leader. A big part of it is knowing who you are and what really motivates you. So develop your own personal mission and vision. Your vision is really knowing what you want to accomplish, whereas your mission is the purpose and overall intention. It supports that vision and serves to communicate purpose and direction. So, with your vision and your mission and some of the strategies that I'll give you, that will create success. So, as you are developing your personal mission and vision, think about your personal and professional values. Do you possess professional values and ethics? Someone who displays professional values will portray a professional image by being a reliable person, by being consistent, by being honest, by having integrity, by dressing and acting appropriately, the way that they carry themselves, by really delivering on those work outcomes that are agreed upon and at the quality standards and within timeframes. And people who have professional values are accountable for their own actions. We always leave a legacy. Some are more profound than others. So, what will your professional work legacy be? I want you to consider a few other things. Do you understand what your roles and responsibilities are? Are you an ethical person? Do you hold yourself accountable for your own actions? What are your guiding principles? Is there a code that you live by? Are you able to self-regulate and control your emotions? Can you read the room? All of these things are important characteristics as you start to build your professional legacy. Do you uphold professional and personal integrity? Do you do the things that you say that you're going to do? Are you someone that others can depend on? Do you understand and respect other professionals? Are you a person that is known to be responsible, honest, diligent, a team player, a good communicator? Some other things to consider: really think specifically about your legacy. What is your legacy and what is it not? Building a legacy means creating something enduring that can be passed on. So when identifying what your legacy will be, ask yourself, what do I have of value that I'd like to pass on? What do I want to be known for? You may also consider your circle of influence. Ask yourself, which individuals could contribute to my legacy? Another approach I think is important in identifying the steps for building a legacy is really thinking about what the end goal might be and work backwards from there. So thinking about what you want to accomplish in 5 years or 10 years, or what you want people to say about you at the end of your career, and work backwards from that. It's really about establishing what you want to be remembered for. So think very specifically. I think it helps to write it down, or some people might record it as a reminder and listen to it every now and then. I'm very big on visualization. So put it on an index card, put it on a post-it, and put it in places that you interact with every day. Maybe you have it on your computer screen, maybe you have it on your bathroom mirror, but it serves as a reminder. Share it with others. Review it on a regular basis. As you grow, what you want your legacy to be might change. So you may need to revise it as necessary. As we grow professionally, things might change, and you may want to sort of revamp what you want your legacy to be based on your experiences. Some other things to consider: think about what your long-term strategies might be, or what your short-term strategies might be. You have to come up with some sort of a plan. So I say, find your village, align yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do, people who are in the spaces that you want to be in. I always say, if I am the smartest person in the room, I am in the wrong room. So I want to align myself with people who are doing better than me, who are doing things that I want to do, because they will have a lot of influence on me and may be able to help me to get into those positions. So I think that everyone should have a mentor or a coach, and you're going to have mentors or coaches at different phases in your life, different phases in your career. You may have mentors or coaches that you could really relate to. You may have mentors or coaches that you met working at a different facility. You might have mentors or coaches that are peer mentors, but I think that everyone should have mentors, because these are the people who are going to help you continue to professionally and personally develop, but also help you to build your legacy. These are people that are going to speak your name in rooms when you are not even there. And when others hear your name, because you've worked on your personal brand and your legacy, they are going to know what you are all about. So remember, your legacy is personal. Build on your passion, set your intentions, build on what you do best and what you really like to do. Listen to your inner desires, your hopes, and your dreams as you're starting to craft what you want your legacy or your personal brand to be. We don't always stay in one position for the entirety of our career. And so at each place where we work, we leave some sort of a legacy. This can really depend on your stage of maturity in your career. It can also depend on the environment, on your colleagues, how well you fit into that workplace, including how well your talents fit into the workplace and what needs to be done. So think about what you may have left behind at the different positions you've had so far throughout your career. Was it positive? Was it negative? Was it big? Was it small? The goal is not to be perfect, but the goal is to take control of your legacy and crafting your legacy, and also of your brand and who you are and what you represent. When we leave, we transition, right? We've all had several transitions in our careers. And these transitions really transform us, and it allows us to learn more about ourselves and help us to really continue to grow. So, for example, when you get a promotion from within an institution, that transition is much different than when you move from one organization to another organization. That might be very different. I had two faculty positions in my role as a nurse educator. One was drastically different from the other. The first one was in an associate's degree program. It was my first time as a nurse educator. I'm not formally educated in nursing education. I am a clinician. So that was challenging for me as I moved into academia and really wanted to learn the nurse educator role. And then when I transitioned to my organization that I'm with right now, which is an associate's bachelor's degree program, very different organization, but I carried my skills that I've learned from that first institution and was able to bring that into my job that I'm doing currently. But I have now grown and I have learned a lot more since I first started out in academia. And I'm thinking about also my transition within this organization. I transitioned from a faculty member to now being an administrator in my current organization. And even that is a very different experience. Some of you may have gone from being a nurse on the unit to now being the nurse manager. So during these transitions, you have to manage your social relationships with your team members, because whether we like it or not, those relationships change as you as a leader start to transition into different roles. And some things that you can do to ease that transition would be doing an assessment. Do a needs assessment. Learn who those stakeholders might be. Learn the organizational culture. That's going to be different from one organization to another. And so you need to learn that culture to see, well, how am I as a leader going to fit into that culture? And how am I going to craft my legacy within this organization, my brand within this organization? I think it's also important to take a listening tour. When I transitioned from being a faculty member to now being an administrator, it was important for me to meet with all of the different teams that I would be interacting with and to learn about how I would interact within that team. So I met with my stakeholders and I got feedback on things that they thought could be improved within the program. Obtain a mentor within the institution. What I was fortunate to have was someone who has been a mentor for me since I was in nursing school, had also been in the position that I'm currently in previously. So he has served as a wonderful mentor for me. I think it's also important for you to do your homework, learn the history of the organization, why decisions may have been made. Get to know your team members, the people that you are going to be working with day in and day out. And then lastly, make sure that you are building a support network, both inside of your organization and also outside of your organization. Remember, patience is a virtue. Transitions do take time, so don't be hard on yourself. Some other points of reflection, I want you to take some time to reflect on this leadership journey that you're on and ask yourself a few questions. What strengths do I bring to my leadership journey? What vulnerabilities or areas of growth do I identify? What's my vision for my leadership? What are my observations or thoughts about balancing strengths within my team? What concerns do I have about communicating within my organization, whether that's above you or below you? What helpful resources exist in my organization to help me on my leadership journey, to help me grow professionally, to help me build a legacy and a brand? And really, how can you maximize or use your mentors or coaches? Not sure if any one of you have read this book, but I think it's a great book as you are embarking on your leadership journey, The 7 Habits of Successful People. This book was published in 1989, but still has a lot of relevance today. And so I just wanted to go through the 7 habits, and hopefully some of these resonate with you and you have some takeaways from here. So the first habit of highly effective people is to sharpen the saw. And that's really about work-life balance. There's a lot of conversation about work-life balance and whether we can truly obtain work-life balance. Personally, I don't think there's a such thing as work-life balance. I don't think you're ever 50-50. Some days you might dedicate 80% of yourself or 100% to your job. Some days your job might get 20% and 80% is focused on your family. But you have to figure out what's the right balance for you. But I don't know that it's ever 50-50. Number 2 is being proactive. Take charge, assume responsibility for your life. This is your life. This is your legacy. This is your brand. Begin with the end in mind is the third one. So again, having that personal vision for yourself, that professional vision and mission, and having a vision for what you want your future to look like. The fourth one is put first things first. And that's really talking about focus on what is important. The fifth one is think win-win. think about a solution that is profitable for everyone, especially when you're dealing with a difficult situation or you might be dealing with conflict. Number 6 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. And then lastly, we have synergize, which means that together we are stronger than we are alone. So really thinking about the team. Transformational leadership is not a new term. You may have heard this throughout your education. And so transformational leaders really have a vision that excites and converts potential followers. Because if we have leaders, then we have followers. They see the big picture. They are constantly modeling that vision established by the organization. They work to convince others, but also recognize and accept that there will be failures and course corrections along the way. They create trust. They're charismatic. They believe in themselves. They're always visible and leading in that vision. They can be counted on to lead the change. They are committed and they provide lots of praise and rewards, a way of encouraging the heart to keep the team motivated. So to look at our major components of that transformational leader, transformational leaders are idealized, they're influential, they're inspirational, they're motivational, they stimulate our intellectual senses, and they provide individualized attention. 3 ways that leaders can really transform followers. Well, by increasing their awareness of the task and the importance of value. They get followers to really focus on the team and the organizational goals rather than thinking about their own interests. And they activate those higher order needs. So when you see higher order needs, think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Social, esteem, self-actualization needs. Transformational leaders really have a we, not an I mindset. One of the frameworks that I love is Kushner's and Posner's leadership framework, and they have identified 5 practices of exemplary leadership, and we'll go through them. But they are modeling the way, inspiring a shared vision, challenging the process, and enabling others to act. My favorite one is probably encouraging the heart. And so they introduce a new twist where leadership is only successful if a shared vision can be communicated to those followers that changes their values. So we'll go through each of them. So when you think about challenging the process, you must not only create a vision, but help others understand why a process or structure needs to be changed. This articulation of the need is paramount. So we're really challenging that status quo. You want people on your team who don't always agree with you because they are going to provide you with a different perspective. They are going to help to challenge the status quo. When you think about inspiring a shared vision, that's really, once you've recognized that there's a need to help others, there's a desire to change. And that's difficult. Change may not always be easy. You need buy-in from your followers. You need buy-in from your team members. Enabling others to act really focuses on providing the resources that allows others to act, fostering communication, fostering collaboration, really strengthening those followers or strengthening those team members, empowering others, developing others. A part of your leadership journey is not only thinking about yourself and what legacy or brand you want to build and how you want to grow, but as a leader, it's also looking at those that are following you and developing them as well, empowering them to become leaders. So you really want to strengthen your team. You are only as strong as your weakest team member. Modeling the way is really about clarifying values, living those values. So when you've identified your vision and your mission and what your professional values are, really live that. Walk the walk, talk the talk. Your actions and your words must match. So you as the leader are setting an example. You are role modeling. You are leading by an example. So you have to make sure that you are practicing what you preach. And again, my favorite, encouraging the heart. And I really do believe that this is the most important one. It's really how you, as a leader, establish an emotional connection between you and your followers. So you need some leadership presence. And I'll talk to you a little bit about what leadership presence is, but it's needed. Your followers need to know that you care about them. So, as an authentic leader, that you genuinely care about them. So, thinking about the ways that you show your followers, your colleagues, your stakeholders that you care. A big part of being a leader is really having leadership present. So, what does that look like? What does it mean to be present or have presence? Usually, if you say that someone has presence, you mean that maybe they impress people by their appearance or their manner. You may hear, oh, she has such presence. Well, when we say that, we're typically referring to the way that a person comports themselves, right? The way that they occupy space. We sense the person is fully present and paying attention. And yes, also embodied, congruent, and calm, regardless of the circumstances. Being fully present really means that I'm attending to what's happening right now. You have my full attention. Being embodied means that it's not just my mind that's present, but I am in my body, connected, feeling, emotionally available. Being congruent really means that I'm communicating in a single message, not saying one thing with my words and another thing with my body language. So rather than conveying the same message with my words, my body language and behavior. So I am walking the walk and talking the talk, delivering the same message with my language and my body language. And really being calm, regardless of the circumstances. And that's not always an easy one. That one can take a little bit of practice. But people who have presence, they show up. Presence is really earned authority. Leadership presence is noted in authority, it's rooted in authority, but it's really learned through example, through your actions to lead others. Your character really lies at the root of strong leadership presence. So, who are you? Character comes from your thoughts, your words, your actions. You decide what that is. Leaders really prove their character when they insist on accountability, not just for others, but also for themselves, for those that they lead. So I want to give you some tips to really help you to develop your leadership presence. And again, you earn it through your actions, through your accountability. So here are a few tips on how you can help to develop your leadership presence. Have a positive attitude, encouraging to others. I'm sure we've all been in situations where maybe we've been in a meeting and someone may have a bad day. Unfortunately, it could be the person that's leading the meeting that may not in that moment have a positive attitude. And you can easily see how that can trickle down to the other team members. So part of being present is coming with a positive attitude and trying your best to leave things that you might be going through in the background. Be an attentive listener. So not listening to respond, but really listening to make sure that you're understanding your team members. Use your soft skills. You may not be familiar what soft skills are, but I'll give you a few examples. For example, soft skills could be your ability to manage, whether it's manage time or manage other people. Soft skills could be your ability to network. Networking may not always be easy for you, depending on who you are as an individual, whether or not you are an introvert or on the other side of that, an extrovert. So extroverts tend to be really good people, right? They can interact with others, they make friends easily, whereas introverts sort of stay to themselves and play the background. And so I am an introvert. I think I'm also a selective extrovert. I know how to be an extrovert when I need to be, but it's not always easy for me. And so, for those of you who might also be introverts, networking can be a little bit uncomfortable. So, one of the strategies that has helped me to network and put myself out there and build more leadership presence, because I know myself as an introvert, I identify when I'm in a social setting, I identify at least one or two people that I can talk to and get to know if I'm in a crowded room. And so maybe that might help you. But you never realize, I think, until you're in higher education, how important networking is. Gotten a lot of my opportunities from people I've met along the way, and still get opportunities from people that I've interacted with along the way in my career. And I think I've been able to nurture those relationships because of who I am as a brand, being known as a person who has integrity, whose actions and words match, who does what I say that I'm going to do, who's honest, who is a good communicator. That has helped me to build those relationships from people that I've met from networking. Other soft skills include creative thinking, being a team player, being a problem solver. Being self motivated is a wonderful soft skill. Having that ability to work under pressure, not always easy. Being responsible, also being flexible and being able to negotiate. Another way that you can help to sort of establish your leadership presence is by not talking about yourself. And that's probably hard, right? You meet someone and you're trying to get to know each other. And so you may be sharing things about one another. And it's hard to not talk about yourself. Try to focus your attention on that person that you are interacting with and really trying to genuinely get to know them. Want to impress someone? Ask helpful questions. So I'm always asking questions. I'm always intrigued. I'm always trying to find out more. And it helps to show that you are interested. Your appearance is important. Whether or not whether or not you like it, people form a perception of you as soon as you walk in the room. And so when you show up, you want to make sure that you are showing up with presence. How you appear matters, how you dress matters, your body language matters. And so these are things that we also have to think about when we are in different spaces. Try to be early. Remember people's names. So show up to the meeting a little bit early, and maybe you'll be able to interact one-on-one with people who are also early and have some time to get to know them. Remember people's names. And that's another one of those strategies from encouraging the heart. You meet someone, and we all interact with people on a day-to-day basis. Think about whether we're at a conference or we may be at a university meeting with other people we don't know. Remembering someone's name goes a long way. It shows that you were an attentive listener. It shows that you were paying attention. Speak with clarity. Make sure that you are clear, you are setting your intentions, you are saying what you intend to say, you're speaking with clarity when you're interacting with others. Also, allow yourself to be vulnerable. That's not always easy. And so I think when you are in a space or you're working within a team, or maybe you're even leading a team, you need to set a safe environment so that people can feel comfortable. They feel safe to be vulnerable. And I think that's when you really get to know people, when they are allowing themselves to really be vulnerable and show their true self. Don't seek personal credit or the spotlight. So again, that's having that we mindset and not the I mindset. So it's always thinking about the team, thinking about the organization, what have we done? Even if it was your idea, you presented it as your idea, but the team really worked well together to make it happen. So having that we mindset and not that I mindset. Giving helpful and timely feedback. People want feedback. Your team members want feedback. Your colleagues want feedback. You, as a leader, as a person who's continuously growing, feedback is something that's important for you to receive as well. You want to know, well, what am I doing well? What can I be doing better? We are all constantly growing, and feedback is a part of that process. So you have to be able to receive feedback. That's not always easy, especially if it's someone telling us how we can improve. It is all about how you frame it. But you also have to be able to give your colleagues, give your team members feedback as well, because a part of being a leader is also helping to develop others, to empower others. So you have to be able to give and also receive feedback. Another one would be really to try to maintain your composure. So try to stay calm, try to keep a cool head. That might not always be easy, especially if you're in a tough situation, you're having a difficult conversation. It might not always be easy. And so, again, part of being a leader is knowing yourself. So I know about myself is that I don't have a lot of patience. And in certain situations, I might easily get upset because I know that about myself. When something occurs that can cause me to be upset, I take a moment for myself. I pause so I can really reflect on how I'm feeling so that I can really clearly think about the situation at hand and come up with solutions. So pause moments are really helpful for me to help me to contain my composure, right? Even under stressful situations. Another one is really taking that time to have conversations with people. I think we live in such a busy world. We're so wrapped up in our day to day. I'm in New York City. Everyone's moving at a rapid pace. Everyone's busy. Everyone has a million things on their plate. But you do have to take the time to have those pause moments, pause throughout your day, pause throughout your week where you can really interact with other individuals and they appreciate that as well. And lastly, you really have to handle problems gracefully and promptly. So for me, I know sometimes in difficult situations or difficult conversations, I know that I need that pause moment. And I think it's okay to say to someone, let me think about that for a second. I will get back to you. And then really take the time to have that pause moment. But you don't want to let that conversation linger, right? We don't want to wait a week to get back to that individual or a week to address a problem. But I think that's where that communication piece comes in, just letting the individual know, I need a moment to think about this and reflect. Can we revisit this conversation tomorrow? Or can we revisit this conversation in the afternoon? And that really gives you the time to gather your thoughts, get some clarity, reflect, and so that you're able to respond gracefully. So hopefully you've been able to get some great tips on what you can do to be a transformational leader, to be an authentic leader, and to really build your own legacy and brand. Again, whether you like it or not, you have a legacy. So why not take control of it and build your legacy, thinking about who you want to be, what you want to be known for, what you hope to accomplish, how you want to interact with others. Thank you so much for joining me for this presentation on legacy building and personal branding. I hope that we can all stay connected. I choose to brand myself by using social media. So you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Instagram, where I'm posting about all of the things that I am doing And so I really also hope to be able to connect with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that very insightful presentation. So I would like to also call my colleagues to assist our participants, particularly with their questions. But there are really a lot of, like very important insights, particularly in this topic of branding. Doctor, what's interesting, I would like to mention about when you mentioned that there's a certain part of you that is kind of an introvert, right? Look, this is what's interesting because most of the strongest and powerful leaders that I was able to interact, it's very surprising because you will be seeing in their accomplishments that they are really out in a crowd, serving a lot of people, and then telling themselves and sharing their story that they are introverts. So it's kind of like an interesting thing to think of, like, I mean, right?
Yeah, people are always surprised when I say to them that I'm an introvert because they look at me and they're like, but you're everywhere doing everything and you're
The
always
same.
having these speaking engagements. And I have to say, but you don't understand how difficult it is for me to put myself in those uncomfortable situations. But I think you have to in order to really grow as a leader. I've been in nursing education now for 13 years. And when I stand up to teach my class, I still feel a little bit nervous. Before I started this presentation, I still felt a little bit nervous. If I go to a conference and I'm in a room with 500 people that I don't know, I'm nervous, but I also understand the importance of networking. And so I say to myself, okay, you're in an uncomfortable situation, but it takes discomfort in order for you to grow. You're nervous, you're shy, but at least pick two people that you can identify and talk to and get to know. And so that's sort of my way of going around being an introvert.
What's interesting in our chat box here, we have some feedback. I believe that transformational leaders are optimistic, enthusiastic, and passionate. They listen to the ideas of an open mind and respond without judgment. They commit to employing active listening techniques so that their team members feel seen, understood, and respected. With these methods in place, they inspire others to share their thoughts and help them grow to become the best leader that they can. Such a powerful statement as well from one of our participants. Do you want to say something about that, Doctor? Or you want me to move with this very important question? I feel like that, how can I strongly communicate my brand in a workplace that is really too traditional and resistant, toxic, or challenging?
That is a good one. And so I think that comment emphasizes the importance of doing your research before you implant yourself into an organization. And I tell my students this all the time as they're looking for new nursing jobs. Meet the nurse manager. Ask them what their leadership style is. Ask to walk around the unit and really observe, how are people interacting with one another? Are they helping each other? Are they communicating? Do you feel like there are people who are working in silos? Are there noticeable cliques? Do you notice conflict as you're observing? Spend time talking to people that work there and really get their perception on what it's like, because you really have to have a good assessment of an organizational culture before you decide to implant yourself in that. Don't just go off of their brand. You might want to work at this organization because it's the #1 nursing school or it's the #1 hospital in the country. But you also have to think about, well, what is their mission? What is their vision? Does that align with my mission? Does that align with my vision? What's the organizational culture like? So when you're going on that interview, you're really looking for those things before you put yourself in that environment. And I think that's one of the biggest steps that you have to take. But we all know, right? It could be smoking mirrors. And you don't really know until you get into that environment and you say, hold up, this is not a healthy work environment. This environment is toxic. And so you have to reassess, okay, what are my goals here? Is this a place that I really want to be? Or maybe you as a leader could be very influential in changing that culture. And so you have to think about whether that's a task that you're even willing to take on. So I would say before you put yourself in any organization, really make sure that you're doing the research.
That was so excellent, Doctor. You know, it kind of resonated with me because I was chatting to one of the, I think, one of the most renowned leaders in education, Dr. Romay Alexander, yesterday. And I told her that in one of the conversations that we had, you told me that one of the lessons that you learned is that you you left those places, you how you wished that you could have left those places that made you feel unworthy, without value, and disrespected. So that is actually one of her long life lessons that I could have, left earlier in these kinds of workplace. So it's kind of interesting.
I think as human beings, we always hope that things could be better, right? We have the hope that, well, maybe if I stay, things will get better. Maybe people would change. We always have that hope, right? But that's not always the case. And so you've worked really hard to get where you are in your career. You should never stay anywhere that you're not happy or you feel like you're not being valued. But it's not always easy to let go. I remember working at a hospital for 10 years, and that's all I knew. And I had the opportunity to now enter academia. It was really hard for me to make the decision to leave that clinical practice and just take a leap of faith into academia. But remember, you have to have faith in yourself, who you are, know who you are as an individual. But no, you should never stay anywhere where you're not happy or you don't feel like you contribute or you don't feel like you're being valued.
That's excellent. I think in most of the leadership workshops and seminars, this is one quite relevant question. How should a leader solve conflicts without offending someone, according to L. Makalalat?
That is a good question. One thing that you should, I think, understand right away as a leader is not everyone is going to like you. And that's okay, right? It's human nature. Not everyone is going to like you. One of the lessons that I learned in my current leadership role, and I learned this the hard way, unfortunately, but the lessons that you learn the hard way really stick with you is that you cannot make decisions based on whether or not it's going to make people happy, right? Because regardless of the decision that you make, someone is not going to be happy, right? Not everyone is going to be happy about the decisions that you have made. And so you want to make sure that you're not making decisions based on emotion, but really making decisions based on the facts that are presented to you, but also looking at the bigger picture and not focusing on, well, if I tell Benjo that I need him to teach an additional class, he's not going to be happy with me. That might be a reality, but I have to make the decision based on what's needed for the program, looking at the bigger picture. What I can do in a situation where I have to make a decision, and I know Benjo is not going to be happy with me about having to teach this class, but this is where encouraging the heart really comes in. I need to show Benjo that I appreciate him and I'm adding on this class because I think you would be excellent for it, and really praise Benjo and appreciate him. And so while he may not be happy that he has to teach this course, at least he knows there was care and thought that went with my decision to give him this additional responsibility, but I'm showing him appreciation. But as leaders, not everyone is going to like you. They're not always going to love your decisions. It's one of those things that comes with the role, but you don't want to use that or use your emotions or use how people might feel about the decisions you make to make your decision. You really have to work with the facts and looking at the bigger picture.
That's really an excellent question. And I think I can interject the idea of being assertive in a conversational style, but focusing on the goal. It's like you communicate that this is how you feel about how you were treated, and try to focus and emphasize that it will affect our patients, it will affect our colleagues, it will affect our dynamics as colleagues and co-workers. I mean, in the beginning, you can do something like that, but as it continues to be like that, then as you said a while ago, you need to reassess if you will be happy in that kind of workplace or situation. So we have here from Dr. Cecil Santos. Thank you very much for the inspiring talk on transformational leadership. Very helpful for school administrators and faculty. And we have here all the way, because this person is familiar to me all the way from the Philippines, Dr. Merlin Nabalio. Thank you, Dr. Selena. And also we have here from Jejomar Ero. Hello, Amida. Amida, to answer your question, being an authentic leader, I think Dr. Gilles answered it already when she mentioned be true to yourself and and to inspire and empower others presupposes empowering yourself first. So let me call in also my colleagues to maybe they may want to share their thoughts and also interject some of their ideas from what has transpired from the presentation. I have here Mr. Alan, Dr. Mark, Dr. Jeremy, and Dr. Alan PJ. How are you, my dear colleagues? You may want to share your thoughts about the presentation as well.
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Gilles. What I like about your sharing is on the values that a leader must espouse. You know, everything starts with their character formation, and I believe that is the reason why we love St. Paul University Philippines. Not only because St. Paul University Philippines empowers us, but it drives us or it advances values in order for us to be formed or to hone or imbibe certain values that we would like to imbibe in our lives as we exercise leadership roles and responsibilities. And I believe that that's one of the things that we are trying to imbibe also to our students, especially now that when it comes to branding and a personal branding, that we use social media. What we are advocating in the university is the responsible use of media. Meaning to say that so that for them to protect themselves, they would also project themselves, they also project their character. So it is always important to go back to values and at the same time to imbibe values in order for us to exercise good leadership, good governance, good management. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alan. I agree with that, particularly the values related to charisma and service. So this is actually one of the most powerful, I think, values that St. Paul University Philippines really imbibe, particularly to their students. So what about my other dear colleagues? What about Dr. Mark? How are you?
Thank you very much, Dr. Selena Gilles, for the wonderful talk. We really learned a lot from you this night in the Philippines and afternoon in the Middle East. It really struck me most when you quoted the 7 habits of effective people, especially for us who are young to the academe, when you said sharpen the saw. So it's really important that we prepare ourselves with what's ahead and be ready, especially to the academe. And as we delve into the academe life, we also have to accept that we just do not teach, but we also learn from our students. And thank you for the tips that you have given us in coming up with the branding and the legacy. And I echo the same message of Dr. Lapay, that the St. Paul University Philippines is inculcating to us, no, character really is there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You know, work-life balance has been a hot topic lately, and I really don't believe that it actually exists. Like I said, you know, you're gonna be 60-40 sometimes, or 70-30, or 80-20, or 100-0 sometimes. But I think what helps with sharpening the saw and really having some sort of work-life balance is really having boundaries. I am really big on boundaries. So you have to have boundaries for yourself, right? And you also have to have boundaries for other people's expectations of you. And so when I started in my leadership role, my boundary was recognizing that this is my career, but it's not my life. And so I have to set up professional boundaries, right? I'm available between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And in the evening, it's my time, it's family time. On the weekend, it's self-care time, right? I can't dedicate all of my life to my job because this is my job, this is my career, this is not my life. So, really establishing those boundaries. And you want to establish those boundaries early. And I make it clear to my team members that these are my boundaries by not sending emails after 5, because it's my boundaries that after 5 is not work time. And so if they don't see me sending emails, they say it's okay to wait until tomorrow to handle this problem. Or it's okay to wait until Monday to handle this problem. I put on my away message. If I'm on vacation, I completely disconnect. I put on my away message. And I also encourage my faculty to do the same thing. And so they have to see me role modeling that good behavior. So if they say, well, Dean Gilles disconnects and she puts on her away message and she's not responding to emails at 2 a.m. or on the weekend, then it's okay for me to have those boundaries and do those things too. Because again, it's your career, but it's not your life. And so you have to treat it as such. And so I think having really strong boundaries does help you with sharpening the saw and really trying to have some sort of work-life balance.
That's really excellent.
Thank you very much for that.
What about Alan? Alan Paulo, what are your thoughts?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gil. I've taken down notes actually. So there are 3 points that I would like to highlight. First is the leader sets the pace. Pace. Okay, so a leader who produces fast results would also make the group or the organization produce faster results. And if a leader is slow, the organization also slows down. So the role of the leader is very important. Second is a team that works best. A team works best if the leader is able to make the team see the leader's vision. And third is that leadership presence. With regards to feedback, as a leader, um, one should make everyone aware that they are willing or open to give feedback and receive feedback, because a true leader is aware of their strengths and weaknesses. That's it.
Absolutely. And you know something, we may not always have leadership presence because sometimes imposter syndrome might be kicking in, right? And we are doubting ourselves. We're saying, how did I get in this position? Am I really qualified? They're going to find out that I don't know what I'm doing. And so those thoughts of self-doubt are always pouring in, and that has an impact on our leadership presence. And I will tell you, in being in this world for 13 years and being in nursing for almost 20, imposter syndrome never goes away. I would say no matter how qualified or what you accomplish, it never goes away. What I think is that you learn how to check it, right? You see it happening, you're like, nope, not today, not gonna happen. I'm not letting those negative thoughts creep into my brain, because once you start doubting yourself, that is going to have a huge impact on your leadership presence and how you interact with people and how you are seen by others. But we're human, and I think we all have bad days, right? Leaders are not perfect. Sometimes we are doubting ourselves, but we learn very quickly how to deal with those thoughts when they start to creep in. And you really do have to master that, because if you don't, it can really take over.
There is still one more question here, Dr. Gilles. How do you charge yourself with positive energy when we reach the maximum stage of work pressure? This is Mai from the Middle East.
We know we are living in a very fast-paced field where there are so many things going on. There's a lot of pressure. I think we sort of have to plan for it. We have to plan ahead. And so I'm a big advocate for schedules and to-do lists. And so I try to make my plan for the day light because I know that there are things that are just going to pop up. And so I want to be able to make the space for those things that pop up because this is life and we're dealing with people and we're dealing with patients and things are going to happen. And so you kind of have to have it in your mind that things might get hectic at times. There might be things that pop up and can stress us or overwhelm us. And so you have to make the space for those things in your day to day. So as you're planning your day to day, as you're planning your week, you sort of make the space for those things that might pop up. So for example, today's Tuesday, it's the beginning of the week, it's the second week of the semester. I know it can get a little crazy. So I planned ahead. I made sure not to have a lot of meetings on my schedule, not to have a lot of things on my to-do list, because I want to make this space for the things that can potentially pop up. It helps me not to get stressed or overwhelmed, but it also is helpful for the organization and the bigger picture.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that wonderful feedback. Also, I would like to mention some words from some of our participants here. That was truly an eye-opener. I am an introvert too, but this year I'd really like to put myself out there. Sure, comfort zone is good, but you'll never grow as a person if you don't get out of your comfort zone. So we have here another one. True indeed, our this is my colleague, my faculty member. True indeed, our work is not our family. We must enjoy life. And there's another one here from Sir Jojo Marero. I totally agree with Dr. Gilles when she said not everybody likes you, so learn to balance yourself with others. We always consider the emotions and behaviors of others. It requires tolerance, deep understanding, and intellectual sensitivity. This is absolutely how we contextualize ourselves to others. We learn how to read people. We learn how to read the room with various values and collective belief system. There are a lot of messages here. And also, Dr. Jeremy would like to add something as well as a part of the discussion. Dr. Jeremy, please.
Yes, good evening, and thank you, Dr. Selena, for the sharing, and of course, Dr. Bench for organizing this activity. You know, everything that have been discussed, especially during the open forum and the question and answer portion, I would like to point to go back to the discussion of Dr. Selena on the building of professional work legacy, because it's something that in her presentation, it started with identity and values. It's something that's innate, something that's personal, something that's coming from the self. And then it goes beyond through guiding principles as work. And then it ended up with responsibility and accountability. So it's something that professional work legacy should be coming from our own self, from what we believe is our mission, what is our vision for ourselves and for our organization and for the people whom we would like to mold. So it's going back to saying you can never give what you do not have. So it's best that we have the identity of having the right values so that it will be the same value-laden activity that we'll be doing with our workmates and the people whom we would like to form. Thank you.
Excellent. That's actually excellent. What do you think, Doctor? Dr. Gilles.
Yeah, I think that your identity, essentially who you are, has a big influence on who you are as a leader. Your experiences have an influence on who you are as a leader. For example, I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised, and I didn't necessarily grow up in the best neighborhoods where I may have had the resources as others, but still I was very determined and motivated and committed to be successful. So that shaped who I am as a person and is why I work so hard. but it also, as a leader, forces me to reflect and say, well, I didn't have those resources that I needed to be successful, yet here I am. But I want to make sure the others that come behind me have those resources. So what can I do as a leader to really help lift others up as I climb? And so my mission really is to be that person that I wish that I had when I was coming up, and hoping that the people that I'm mentoring do the same thing for someone else. So your identity, who you are, your experiences growing up really has a huge impact on who you are and who you want to be as a leader.
Perfect.
Thank you, Doctor, for that wonderful explanation. I also would like to call in the president of St. Paul University Philippines. She actually wants to share her thoughts as well. Sister Mercedes. Yes.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Benju, and thank you, Dr. Selena. Very inspiring talk. We learned a lot. We were so inspired. I really believe that transformative leadership is a challenging process, and it must really be anchored on authenticity, sincerity, values and ethics, loving service, and genuine care for people. I believe that when we empower others, we also transform them to become their best. And so it's really a journey from yourself, your identity, your values, into transforming others by leading them to be the best version of themselves according to context and, of course, to the shared vision mission of the organization. Thank you. Very insightful and inspiring.
And you said that so perfectly, leading people to be the best versions of themselves. I think that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, and that's leadership. There are actually so many, thoughts, ideas that are scattered all throughout the presentation. And honestly, when you mentioned a while ago that it's very important to pause throughout the day, interact either individually, but also, I may add also to interact with yourself. Because when we are so busy during the entire day, and sometimes we don't even have the time to probably eat or probably reflect, which is very important as a part of leadership. But one of the most powerful lessons that I got from your presentation, Doctor, is sometimes it's very easy for us to say, be yourself. But authenticity is a journey. It's there. But we are always afraid or maybe anxious on what the people around us, on how they look at us, that they will judge us. But at the end of the day, when we get to that stage of really getting to know who we are, that is actually the time. And it starts wherein our impact really comes in and make a difference to the people around us. But it is a journey because I believe that everybody, we have this, we have our self within us, the true self within us that doesn't comes out like easily. So there are a lot of positive messages here. There's another one here from Saudi Arabia. Yes, true. I believe it is critical to go to work every day with a desire to learn something new, even if you are in the same position. It is about inner power, motivating us to be creative rather than frustrating us. And most of our participants here as well express their thank yous. So really, thank you so much, Dr. Selena, for this very insightful. Honestly speaking, there are a lot of stuff to discuss. But I just want to say this for the benefit of everybody. I admire that Dr. Selena added this, the leadership challenge by Koses and Posner, because it is actually developed out of more than 20 years of observing leaders around the world. So for her to discuss these five, exemplary practices of leadership, I feel like in a global perspective, this is really something that most of the participants, like nurses or healthcare professionals, those who are in the healthcare field, needs to read about these five practices of exemplary leadership that was mentioned by Dr. Selena. All right, so to connect with our renowned speaker for today, this is her Twitter page and also her LinkedIn account. Okay, and also for you to be able to get your certificate, and also you can also connect with me through my Twitter account and also my LinkedIn account. But do not forget for the participants to specifically evaluate the event for us to be able to issue your free certificate. So the link for the evaluation is already in the chat box. So feel free to evaluate the program. And of course, also, we would like to inform everybody also to connect with St. Paul University Philippines Facebook page and also their LinkedIn account. All right, and I guess we're about to close our event. To close our event, we have to take a look at the next program that we will be having on February 12. We will be talking about planetary health, the challenges and opportunities for healthcare. Dr. Teddy Potter will be the speaker for this event. And this is such a very relevant topic also, not only for multidisciplinary professionals, but as well as healthcare providers or nurses like us. And to close our event, I would like to first personally express our deepest gratitude and pleasure to St. Paul University Philippines for the engagement and candor of the university to make this project happen. To the President, Merceditas Ang, SPC, Dr. Ann Talosig, and basically the St. Paul University family for their kindness, their leadership, and also their intention to serve. And to our speaker as well, Dr. Selena Gilles, we thank you for infusing joy for all of us just by listening to your presentation. It is indeed a topic that can create an impact to professionals who wants to strive for growth and specifically in their careers, whether they are a leader or not. We admire you for using your voice to create an impact to these professionals around the world. And to the future leaders and game changers who attended this event, always believe in yourself. Same as with the favorite quotation of Dr. Selena, you're braver than you think, more talented than you know, and capable of more than you can imagine. So thank you so much for all the participants who attended this event. Thank you. For the participants, just continue to please evaluate the event, because I will be sending, of course, this to St. Paul University Philippines and also to our speaker. So kindly please evaluate the presentation for you to be able to secure your free certificate for the event. Anything that you would like to add, my dear colleagues? Sister Merceditas, please.
Benjo, well said. I'm sure the ripples of the insights we have gained will go a long way. And please encourage them to attend the other series of talks. Very interesting topics as well.
Thank you so much. What about my colleagues? You would like to say something, express gratitude? And our participants actually are saying, thank you, Dr. Gilles, inspiring talk. Thank you very much, Dr. Gilles, for sharing your talk with us. Thank you. I am interested in attending other events with you. Your thoughts are inspirational. This is actually from Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a lot of positive messages here. You were instrumental in the success of this valuable enriching conference and encounter. More power to you all. Thank you. Thank you to all the organizers. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Selena, for that inspiring thoughts and transformational leadership. Thoughts on
Thank you
transformational
so much
leadership.
for having me.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you,
just,
Bye,
Selena.
everyone.
Thank you.
just stay in
Picture
the
daw, Doc Benjo.
queue.
Okay.
Picture.
A picture. Wait, picture. We have to take our picture. So,
All right, 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you, everyone.
thank you so much, Alan. Yes, thank you, Doctor. Okay, for all those who are not yet done with the evaluation, please kindly evaluate the event so that we know who are those who attended the event from start to finish. So just kindly feel free to evaluate the event for you to be able to secure your certificates. And of course, I would like to express my thanks to Dr. Mark, to Sir Alan, Alan PJ, and to Sir Jeremy, and to Sister Merceditas, and also to Dr. Talosig, of course, and the entire School of Nursing and Allied Health Sciences. So feel free to please do the evaluation, evaluate the event so that we can also give a copy of the results for us to be able to do better in the next event. Yes, bye. I will stay.
Bye.
I will stay because I want to. Maybe the others are not yet evaluating, so I will have to look at it.
Dr. Bench,
Yes.
At 9:21 we reached 305
Yes.
participants.
Yes, I saw that. That's great. That's really great. Thank you, really.
Yeah,
Then,
thank you very much.
Sir Alan,
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I could
Congratulations.
not. I have also a problem with with my internet reception here. That's why I could not say.
I like.
Sorry. Anyway, you have recording. Probably you
Yes,
could share it
I
with
will
us
keep
and
you.
upload.
Yes,
We could upload it later.
of course.
Thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Yes, po.
And Sir and Doc Jeremy, I almost forgot a while ago. Because also, my train of thought a while ago, I almost forgot to call Dr. Jeremy a while ago. Because I'm
No,
trying.
it's fine. It's fine.
But
I was managing the spotlighting and the others naman. Yeah, no worries.
okay, feel free to, yes, please evaluate our event so that we get to see the results and the evaluation. So please do the evaluation. Yeah, so far we have more than 100 who evaluated. So please, I will be staying for one more 5 minutes. 5 minutes more. So please do the evaluation.
All right. Thank
You're
you.
done.
Congratulations, Dr. Bench. Yeah, may I leave first? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. The event
Thank you.
on
Thank you,
February 12
sister.
has been posted already po. It was already been posted. We will share it in the link in tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Benjo.
Thank you, Doc Alan. Thank you, Doc Alan.
Thank
We will also share it to our partners as well. Thank you. Bye-bye po.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir Mark, thank you
Bye
very
po.
much. Bye-bye po,
Thank you,
Sir Alan.
sister.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye
Ingat.
po,
Good
Sister.
Thank you,
night.
sister. Thank you, Dr.
Good night
Ben.
po, Sir
Good
Mark. Good
night.
night, Sir Dr.
Good
Benjo.
night.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Good night, Press,
Thank
Sister
you.
Merceditas.
Our next webinar will be on February 12, right?
Health. Planetary health, about planetary health. Yeah, it's about, it's also a great topic for nurses. It's actually one of the most contemporary topics that are now integrated in the nursing curriculum, planetary health.
Thank you again. Bye.
To you
I
the
have to leave
results
now.
later. I'll send the results of the
Yeah,
event.
very productive and inspiring. Very nice.
Our
Interesting.
pleasure, sister. Our pleasure. For the remaining participants, I will be staying for 4 more minutes. So please, for you to get your certificate, you have to evaluate the event. So please feel free to do so. 4 more minutes